What's up? We're back. We are back. Um, Dutton, it will grow back. Dutton, you look a little different, man.
Yeah, you know what though?
What?
I look a lot younger without the mustache, but sometimes I still want to be like this. I'm like, there's
Yeah.
nothing there to twist,
Yeah.
What a story, Mark.
and I knew it would set you up with the that right there.
I can't help myself. Yeah, so we are. We're back. Last week couldn't do this thing because I was sick. I'm at about 65% now. So last week I really wanted to show off my new thing here. Look at this. I rearranged the office. So I rearranged everything, and now I've got lights. And I've got my tablet here. It moves around, so I can be like, "Hey, look at that! I can draw here." I stand up sometimes. Yeah, right.
Yo, you got some cool like club lighting going on.
I do, yeah. And so I sometimes we'll get the music going, and I'll be jamming. So tonight I've got my coffee, and I've got some Arnold Palmer for when I run out of this. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing tonight.
Very cool. Gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah, Sam, aka God's Black Friend. Man, I love that title. Introduce yourself, man. Let everybody know who you are, where you come from, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I'm Sam, God's Black Friend. I chose that name because that's how I like to describe myself. I remember a friend of mine back in the day told me that the most distinguishing part about me, as a person, my character, is my relationship with God. And I took that as a big, it made me feel good.
Dude, I love that.
As a Christian, which I am, that was super cool, especially coming from my friend was an atheist. And so at least let me know he knew what was up. But yeah, I am a writer. An all-around kind of creative. I am the co-founder and VP of Capsule Games, as well as the creator of Mighty Jump Comics, which is something that's been bubbling in my brain and has a registered YouTube with nothing on it and an Instagram with 2 pictures on it, but is coming soon. And so, yeah, there are a lot of projects there I really want to tackle. But yeah, I want to write for all the things that I love. Comic books, video games. I would love to write a film one day. I think that's going to happen. And I want to do all those things to the glory of God.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, and so I kind of have this mission because growing up as a Christian kid with Christian parents, I was introduced to lots of Christian media, like Christian alternative media. So Christian comic books and Christian cartoons. Mm-hmm. And they were all, and so many of them, not all of them, but the vast majority of them were so
bad,
not as cool. They were lame. Lame.
Dude, I'm going to stop you right there and go preach.
Yeah, so
yeah, I don't know if Justin told you what I do. I'm a full-time pastor. That's my day.
Mention that. Yeah,
that's my day thing, right? So I agree. Christian media is so bad.
It is
for the most part. There's a couple things that are really good, but Christian comic books are the worst. Oh my
really
gosh!
Bad. Yeah. So I wanted to be the guy that fixed that, right? That was kind of my mission. And so and I've been a big fan of comic books my whole life and manga. I also kind of want to meld the two, the best of the Eastern and Western comics and manga, as well as do something high quality for God. So
you know what though? Yeah. Out of Christian media, VeggieTales got some songs though.
Oh, there was some bop. So
VeggieTales got some heat.
Yeah. So the format of this show is basically we just hang out and we talk. People will pop in the comments, and so just feel free, anyone that's watching, to ask questions. I did pop the StreamYard link in there, so if you want to come in the room and hang out with Sam, aka God's black friend. And he's my
And
black friend now
Dutton,
too.
Sam's white friend.
Yeah, and Dutton's Sam's white friend.
White friends.
Yeah, go ahead and pop in. And as long as you behave yourself, you'll be allowed in. Otherwise, I boot you. So by behave yourself, I just mean just don't be rude to anyone, unless it's for fun. Because I think rude for fun is fun. So feel free to use that. But so we sometimes just get off topic just for the fun of it. What was your favorite VeggieTales song? Best VeggieTales song? What was it?
Oh, I'm gonna be really honest. It's been so long that I can't remember. I can tell you probably like my favorite VeggieTales moment though, although I can't remember any of the songs offhand. There was this part where they're reenacting the Battle of Jericho and how they went around the walls 7 times and then the walls fell down.
Yeah.
And then all of them were like tomatoes and peas, but most of the soldiers were peas.
Yeah.
And there was like they were cheering and they were clapping, and then this pea that's like a round ball looks to this other pea and he's like, "Hey, we don't have any arms. How are we clapping right now?" And I remember this being so funny and like fell over like laughing. That was like that moment like stuck into my head. Like that's VeggieTales humor. That's the good stuff.
My hands down favorite song was the hairbrush song. Remember it? Oh, where is my hairbrush? Oh, where is my hairbrush? Oh, where no hair, no hair, oh, where no hair for my hairbrush.
I love my lips.
I don't remember it, but I like your rendition.
I remember that one. It's part of like the silly songs with the Larry.
Silly songs with Larry were awesome,
Yeah.
and I also like the one when it was like
I love my lips. And he's like, "Usopp."
oh yeah, and then like King Nebuchadnezzar, like they did the instead of the idol, it was a giant chocolate bunny.
Yep.
The bunny. Ooh, I love the bunny. Man, I tell you, I love that stuff. Yeah, so yeah, that was a bop. That was pretty good. And we've got someone in the chat. Javi says, "What's up, Pete?" Peps. He says Peps.
What's up, Javi?
What's up, man? Yeah, it's
up?
great to have you in the chat tonight. We're just hanging out here with Sam, aka God's black friend. And Sam is telling us a little bit about himself. He's a writer. He does a gaming thing. So,
yes.
And he corrected himself. Peeps. There we go. So,
You know what? The most disgusting candy is Peeps.
Always.
I will die on that hill.
I don't like Peeps. My wife likes Peeps once they've gone stale, which is the worst. Javi says, Sam, how do you do? How do you do, neighbor?
I did do pretty good. How did you do?
I had a manager suggest that you dip Peeps in beer and it makes it taste better. And I'm like, I'll take your word for that.
Javi also says, Dutton, hello, sir. And you're wrong. Just saying.
Just saying.
So my wife, yeah, she likes them stale. I'm not really a big fan of the Peep unless it's melted on something.
I'm kind of with Dutton on this one. I'm not a big Peep guy. No, all respect to those who love it, enjoy it, but I'm not one of you. But
yeah,
we
so
can be friends though.
Obviously, Javi loves those Peeps, and we are not going to hold that against him because you know what? Do what makes you happy.
Right.
That's what I think.
And you know what, Javi? That's more Peeps for you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You can have all of our Peeps.
All of them.
I will
That's
gladly
dibs on
donate.
my Peeps.
I eat candy once a year, maybe. Ooh, just once a year. I eat candy every chance I get.
Take every opportunity.
So let me
bring like a hoodie pocket full of candy, and like at work they call me Willy Wonka.
All right. So, as far as you got a game development company, what's the company called again?
Capsule. CAPCEL.
Like
You can find us on Instagram at Capsule Art or Capsule USA. We have 2. That's where the main man, Jason, he makes all the wonderful things that come out of his head. He puts them on paper or on screen. He's a great artist, and he animates them. And we work together. But it's mostly his genius. But
so do you have games people can download?
Not currently, no. We're working on we kind of have a few games sort of done in various places of production, and we're trying to decide which game to finish and put a demo out, and wrapping our head around really doing the crowdfunding thing.
Okay.
So yeah, so a first impression is really hard, and so we're gonna measure 10 times and cut once, as the saying goes.
Yeah, it is. So like when you do the games, are these going to be like for consoles? Are they going to be mobile gaming, computer gaming? Like how is what platforms are they going to be used on?
For sure PC, but we're big fans of the Nintendo Switch. We like PS4, we like Xbox, so we're aiming for all of those, but as a game designer, PC is the easiest to develop for,
right.
and so many people have one, but we really want to be on Switch too. Switch is like a cool system.
Oh, that'd be great, man. That'd be great. And so is everything that you're doing, because you mentioned that that your faith is really important to you, which is really awesome. And I like to see creative people that are trying to do things, but allow their faith to kind of steer them a bit. So like for instance, you said you want to kind of rectify the fact that Christian comics are lame and they're bad. I just didn't make a Christian, I do a comic, but it's not Christian. It's got my Christian worldview in it. And it's got some allegory, kind of like Tolkien and stuff like that. But it's expressly not a Christian book, because I didn't want people to expect to open it up and think. Well, I think here's my problem. Let me explain this. I'll slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
This is offensive. Okay, I'm going to preface what I say by saying this is offensive, and I immediately watched the number of viewers just drop. You're like, uh-oh, Luke's about to say something.
Escape! My safe space! I have to escape!
Right, okay, so here's the thing. What I find problematic with Christian media is this. It is packaged for Christians, but it has a messaging for non-believers.
Right, okay.
So it's like, hey, I'm going to tell people about the gospel, and hopefully they'll accept Jesus and, have a new friend, right?
Yeah.
But we put it in a package that is geared towards people of faith. There's crosses on it, and it's all Christianese language and stuff like that. And so they've got it all backwards, right? So if you're going to market something to believers, then what you need to focus on is discipleship and things like that, and basically just entertainment too, clean entertainment. And then the other thing, if you're really going to market something to non-believers for the gospel, you need to tell that story in a way that hasn't been presented to them before. I mean, it's 2021, right? Most of these people have people are making 22-page tracts is what they're doing with comic books, and they're not doing a good job with it. They're not doing a good job at all. And so I didn't want to do that. I wanted to kind of share my worldview. I wanted to, those kind of things. And so, so having said that, I know that your faith is everything that you're a part of. Is it faith community or something like that?
So, so everything I do with Mighty Jump Comics, that is geared toward, it's packaged for non-believers. It's not preaching to the choir. There are enough things preaching to the choir, Christian media for Christians who ingest and feel good about already being a Christian. My sort of attack at reaching non-believers with really cool comics is how I'm a comic book fan, and I like Thor, right? From Marvel, right? But I'm not necessarily, I don't believe in the Icelandic, Slavic, whatever religion Thor comes from. Yeah. But I dig Thor as a cool idea, right?
He's a cool character, yeah.
He's a very cool character. I kind of am coming at it from that way. I'm not trying to preach to people about Jesus through the comic. I'm trying to introduce them to the idea of Jesus, and then if they find it interesting enough, they can open up a Bible or walk into their local church. But I don't expect someone to read my comic and then come to a confession of faith.
Okay.
Right.
You know what? I was actually thinking of this because, obviously, when it comes to the faith, I'm a little less so on it.
Sure, yeah.
But
He's like,
it is
just
what it is.
be a, you don't have to tiptoe
Yeah.
around it. Just be honest with us.
Yeah, but
We ain't hating on
the
nobody.
thing that I will say, a lot of like non-Christians, when you think Christian superhero, you think Bible man, and that was bad.
Yeah, yeah. Right, and
But
that's-
you know
that's-
what is underrated? That is actually like it's not quite it's Catholicism. So it's Christianity, but is certain like storylines in Daredevil, because
yes.
he's one of the few people in Marvel that's like actually has a faith, big on it, and
Right, yeah.
there are even several storylines where he's questioned and basically found the strength through the church, and then was able to recenter himself and actually take on the bad guy when
Yes.
Kingpin tore down everything in his life. He went back
Yeah.
to faith and built back up. I feel like if more Christian comics looked at what Daredevil has done successfully, and less at Bible Man.
Sweet, yeah.
I would,
So,
I would
let's
totally agree.
Let's get to a couple of comments here. Javi says, I am native, as you know, Luke. Yes, I do. I think, but I am not Christian. But Creator is amazing. But we are more on the lines of spiritual than religious if that makes sense. On these lines, put the black road and the red road in perspective. So with that being said, there has to be balance. So there has to be a bad and a good. It's the sweet spot that makes you decent. And that is really, really a basic text explanation. I guess I see where you're coming from there. I'm not going to, I don't know that I fully understood all that, but yeah, I think, there is duality of man. But I think that what I strive for is to be perfectly holy or righteous. That's what I strive for. Now, it's because of my inherent sin nature. It's difficult for me to do that. Not just difficult, impossible for me to do that. And I think that's kind of where we come from. But what happens a lot of times is we whitewash kind of the walk, like that. What we deal with from our perspective, Sam, is that when we're kind of dealing with that. Instead of approach those life situations that we went through with the dirt and the grit that is really there, really present during your faith walk, we tend to clean it up, and we tend to Mr. Clean that thing, and take out all of the rough,
Which is, I think, a real detriment, because when you tell the story of the dirt, that includes the dirt and the mistakes and just be honest about how horrible of a person you are, and then show how God has saved you, right? That's that shows a greater God. That shows
And I
God
think
in
that's
his more
what
accurate
the
greatness.
Daredevil comics do very well compared to.
I agree. And they're able to do that in a what we would call a secular setting, because and I think the problem with it, as soon as you get the dirt and the grit, it scares off the more kind of stuffy religious people. They're afraid of that. So there was this moment in my life in 2008, and I don't talk about this much outside of church, but in 2008, life took a rough turn. I lost my mom. We were pregnant, and we lost my mom, and 2 weeks later we went to go hear the heartbeat, and we had my little girl. We'd been trying for 5 years to have another baby. And so my daughter was with us, and they went to go hear the heartbeat, and there was no heartbeat. And my wife immediately started to freak out. She knew what was going on, and my daughter's like, "What's happening?" And so we had to explain that, that you're not going to be a big sister, that we lost the baby. And man, it was just like, and not only that, but we had so many other things that year that just kind of piled on and piled on and piled on. And there was that moment, here is a guy, a man of faith, somebody that, kind of worked around church and was involved with church. And I'm sitting there, the doctors finally leave. They take our daughter out. Our daughter's weeping. My wife is weeping. Man, I'm weeping. And I just shake my hand and I get mad and I'm cussing at God. I've had enough. I can't take any more. And, in the story, if my story ever goes into a book, or if it ever goes into that, I'm going to be honest about my mouth in that moment, because all of me was broken. And the thing is, we clean that stuff up, and we pretend it's like, oh well, if you're a person of faith, you can't have those weak, those broken moments. But I'll tell you what, now looking at 2008 and where I'm at now, I would not change anything that happened, because it developed the character in me that I have today. So it's like, I think that's the thing. Like we kind of whitewash that stuff too much. We sweep some of that stuff under the rug. And I like it when people approach faith from that Christian worldview and from that realistic expectation, rather than from that like pristine white crosses with gold trim and all that kind of stuff. Like show me the dirt, because there's a lot of dirt in I know,
Yeah.
In our faith walk, it's dirty. Yeah.
I think there's like this sort of irrational and really unbiblical fear that if I let the non-Christians know how rough of a time I'm having, it makes my God look bad. So I have to make it look like everything's going good, and really that's an a pathetic way to think about God, the God who saves your soul from eternal damnation, the God that loves you from the cross and back again. Like, that God can totally handle your stuff, and when he does show up and handle your stuff, it's actually a testament to how loving and how great he is. If I could share perhaps a similar story, some years back, I was in a very unhealthy relationship, but I was like all the way in love, right? With the wrong person, but at the time I thought this was my chance at true love, and I put like everything I possibly could have into this relationship, and it failed horribly, and I went into a place of like very deep depression because of it. I went into an extremely dark place where I did want to die. Because of my faith, I knew doing something like killing myself was off of the table, and I knew, because I know God is, he has the authority over life and death, especially my life. I gave my life to him. And so, but I still wanted to die because of the place I was in. So I remembered being in that dark place and literally praying to God, God, can today be the day that you kill me? And I was in that very, very dark place.
That's raw, man.
And I remember one night asking God, like, please, can you do it already? Can you end this life? And God speaking very clearly to me in a sort of annoyed, angry tone, and saying no, and stop asking. And it was in that moment, it wasn't like somebody, said buck her up and God's always going to be there and lovey-dovey, but it was actually the authoritative nature of God that told me, it's not up to you when you die, it's up to me, and I've said no, so you're going to continue living.
Yeah.
And my response was, okay, well, God, you're right, so I guess I have to keep living this life. And that gave me, that was the turning point in which, it wasn't so horrible. The next day was still pretty horrible, but it wasn't as horrible, and it got less horrible, and God was there, and he showed up, and the joy did come, and the peace did come, but it didn't start with God giving me what I wanted, or like people trying to make me feel better. It came from an authoritative place, and me responding to that authority of God saying, you're not going to die. Your life has meaning, and I've decided you're not going to die. So you have to deal with that.
I love that, man. And you know,
and I'm here today because of it.
There was something you said, it was like, it didn't happen right away. It was a little bit better the next day, but there's that whole process. Yeah, I think when people like do like experience that faith conversion, when they meet Jesus, when they make that new friend, you know, and you realize that's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. When they start hanging out with that guy in their life, it's not immediate, you know. I've been told, like, you know, because I approach ministry way different than some people. You know, I'm like strictly Bible. You know, I'm not religious. I'm strictly Bible. I don't preach from opinions. I'm not progressive in my theology in any way. I'm just straight to the Bible, right? But at the same time, people's like, well, that's not very pastorally. And I'm like, well, by default, I'm a pastor, so yeah, it is. You know, it's like you're looking at this all wrong, man. But it's a process that we go through. We're not perfect today. We're not perfect tomorrow. You know, it just kind of goes there. But you know, we kind of I love talking faith with people, especially in the geek community. But let's jump back into some of these comments. And so Danny Morales is in the comments. He's saying, "Sup, fellas, thank you." He says that he created a new Voodoo Nations fan at the store today, which, man, that is awesome. We just funded Voodoo Nations 2, which that is a story about two young missionaries that go to Brazil and wind up getting getting their life and their world turned upside down by this voodoo priest named Bishop Lucas. And so second issue takes them to New Orleans, where they slide deeper down the hole into the world of voodoo, and Travis Gibb will be turning this thing around hopefully in a couple of issues, because we have 2 more issues to do. But it's a great book. Proud to be a part of that. So thanks for helping spread the word about that. Obviously, yeah, it was hard to text it. Yeah, that kind of thought pattern, I think, sometimes is best verbalized. And that is how a true hero should be written, because we all go through the bad to overcome and be good. Like, it's a choice to be a good person, because we can all be bad easily. Yeah, and here's the thing I want to say about that. And I appreciate people saying that, because what we have right now is so many deconstruction stories of a hero to show them as being flawed. Like, hey, we're actually better than the hero. But the whole idea of the hero was that they were making the choice to be better, which inspired us to be better. Yes. You know, which happens, you know, now we're deconstructing everything now. People are deconstructing their faith. They're deconstructing heroes. They're deconstructing their food. Oh my gosh, just put it all together so I could eat it, right? I don't, I'm like, make it a sandwich. Don't deconstruct,
a side of bread and turkey, balsamic vinegar, this, and
just stick it on there.
Put it together. All right, let me eat it.
Yeah. Construct it. That's what you do. That's what your job as a chef, right? Like, you are a food contractor. Danny says we all have our moments. We doubt God, but as my grandma always says, we have to keep having the faith. And Ward Vaughn liked something that we said. He said preach. Bob Tarx9 says hello everyone.
Hello.
He said later that he'll be creeping. He'll be lurking. He says, I'm lurking.
Go ahead and lurk.
Yep. And then we've got where Vaughn says, God is good and he is near to us always when we don't know it. And that is absolutely true. Danny says, I've been there, talking about your situation, Sam. I've been there. It's the worst place to be, but because we were here, it's clear that he had other plans, and that is so true.
Amen.
That is so true. Javi has some more things to say. Says in the facts, the people that are the vessels for telling someone gets mad when the person doesn't listen. When you get the fact that each person has their own path, they have the choice to go to that path. Instead, though, this doesn't happen. When the vessel talks to someone and they don't listen, they get mad and think negatively towards the person. I think I know what he says, what he's saying here. So there are people that believe, and they want to argue. You know, their goal is to be right. You know, they forget to be kind and loving. But at the end of the day, it's not my job or your job to make someone believe. It's our job to show them that there's another path. And it's up to the Holy Spirit. In John, it says it's up to the Holy Spirit to convince concerning sin, judgment, and righteousness. It's our job just to be a witness. And so how we witness makes all the difference in the world. with people. And, some people believe that this path can lead to God or that path can lead to God. As a believer, and I know Sam and I are kind of on the same page here, the only way to get to heaven and get to the Father is through the Son, Jesus Christ. And so we know that that's the path. And so everything that we want to do is point people to that path, because that is, that's the path that we believe leads people to eternal happiness. But we got Ward Vaughn. We're all broken and need Jesus daily. Amen. That is very true. Bob says, yes, Voodoo Nations issue 2 is funded. We finished that up yesterday. Man, nice. It was so nice. We had 240 some backers, a little shy of our first book numbers, but as far as resources go, we were able to bring in almost $6,000. So thank you so much to everyone that supported that book and helped us out with that. It just means the world to us. Hybrids also funded a few weeks ago. It's still in demand. The printer is working on the prints and sending them my way. So we're looking forward to that. I'm glad I caught this. Some good stuff here. Thanks, Ward. I'm glad you did too. And this is a geek show. We do talk about comics and things like that. Voodoo Nations fam. Woo, woo. Yes.
I think to get back to what Dutton was talking about in regards to Daredevil, first of all, I love Daredevil. And there was a part in the run, I think it was when Kevin Smith was writing the book, there was this really great story, speaking of how, sometimes non-Christians can write really cool stories that, make people think about the Bible. Kevin Smith, I think being a Catholic himself, there's a storyline where Daredevil comes across this young girl who's like a 14-year-old girl. She seemingly immaculately conceives of a child, and there's this Daredevil becomes convinced that this child might be the Antichrist, right? And because it's sort of mimicking Mary and the birth of Jesus, and so he's considering killing this child, right? Because he thinks it's the Antichrist is going to bring about the end of the world. He's having a real crisis of faith, and so what he does is he tries to go to Doctor Strange to try and get some answers, and what Doctor Strange does is he summons and binds Mephisto in this circle, and Mephisto shows up, and Daredevil's like, hey, is this kid the Antichrist? Or Daredevil's, hey, is this kid the Antichrist? And Mephisto laughs at him, and then Mephisto starts reciting Bible to Matt to a Christian, telling him how foolish he is, because he says when the Messiah returns, he's going to return as a lion and not as a lamb, right? He's going to return in full force, not as a small baby in a manger. So at first Matt thought this was Jesus Christ returned, and it wasn't, and then he later on thought it was that the kid was the Antichrist. And then he finds out it isn't. It's all this elaborate scheme by, I believe, Mysterio. But it was this really cool moment where they used the idea of Mephisto, the devil, to recite Bible verses to Matt to tell him, hey, man, have you not read? Right? It was a super cool. Yeah. And he was mocking him with it. It's you're a Christian. You should know these things. Right?
Yeah, and it's really cool from a writer like Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
To kind of tackle that stuff. And I love that you get these kind of stories in comics, and and that you can kind of approach those things. And that's kind of how I like to approach issues of faith in comics, and not kind of the other way. So that's your comic stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now your video game stuff.
Yes, Capsule.
Yeah.
So Capsule, Me and Jason are Christians. Me and the other half of Capsule. But our video games aren't necessarily faith-centered. We would never do something in a video game that would what's the term? That would contradict our faith. But they're not meant to necessarily entertain specifically just Christians or to preach a Christian narrative. We're big fans of old school games from the 90s, specifically Capcom games and Konami games.
Nice.
And so we're thinking about really cool fighting games and how to make the beat 'em up good again or great again, and how to
I love it.
like really cool platformers and things like that. And there are games with ghosts and games with samurais and games with commandos, right? And so there's
but
really,
safe
like,
for the family. So like my 11-year-old could grab one of these games. I don't have to worry about language or sex. It's not like playing Grand Theft Auto or something like that, where it's like
No,
they're gonna learn some stuff that I didn't want. We moved away from that neighborhood so they wouldn't learn that stuff.
Right.
kind of stuff.
I don't know. Yes, actually. I was going to say I don't know, but actually we do want games that kids can enjoy and that are fun and they can pick up. We might have a pretty lady in the game, but she's not going to be like naked or something, right? And there might be violence in the game, and we might even do things like gore, because like we're fans of, like, say, Resident Evil.
Oh yeah.
But we're not doing anything that like Jason has a child, and I don't think he wants to make anything that his kid couldn't play.
Nice.
So, or anything that he would be ashamed of. But also at the same time, it's not the games at Capsule. They're not like these preachy Christian things. And even my stuff is more Christ-centered, like the comics. But even less so, they're not preachy. We both want to, whether it's like comic books or video games, we want to meet Christ and him say, "Good job, my good and faithful servant." Right? And so we don't want to do anything that would like put any barriers between us and our Lord.
Right? Yeah. See, yeah, like I can tell people all the time. I'm just trying not to bring dishonor to God or my church, in what I do.
Yeah.
Hey, Luke, I actually have a video shared in like the private chat.
Okay.
It's a trailer of a video game that my friend actually created. He has a small studio. I think it's like him and his friend, but I went to college with him, and he's actually one of the success stories from the college.
Well, here, let me.
Epic Studios actually helped publish this.
Well, let me share it. Let me share this, and we'll watch it real fast.
What's your friend's name?
My friend's name is Jacob. I don't know if he'd be cool if I shared like his whole name.
Oh, okay.
But
that would show him some love as a game designer, but yeah. All right.
Yeah. But Spirit of the North, Infused Studio. Came out last year on the PS4, Xbox, and like Nintendo Switch.
My son has played this game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We got Game Pass. I think this was on Game Pass. I remember the dog.
It's got the light Okami vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a journey.
Man, this is so cool.
And it's
That's tight.
relatively short. Like it's like 3.5 hours, and you've completed the whole game.
Dude, that's awesome.
All right. This looks
Yeah.
like
But that's short for like how some games are, but also long considering it's a small studio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop this thing. I still got the video playing over, like other videos over here playing. I'm like, I gotta stop that. So yeah, man, that's awesome. We got to talk because part of I've got like this long term plan, and Hybrids needs to be a fighter game, like where you like go like the old type, like not Street Fighter, but like the old like Double Dragon kind of thing, or the Ninja Turtles, like where you're going through and fighting
a beat 'em up.
a beat 'em up game, yeah, where you're like going through and you got to rescue the other Hydra, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you got yeah. So it's something that we're looking at doing for 2020, trying to find someone to partner for that for 2022, 2023 to have something at least going because things are starting to pick up for the Hybrids franchise. So we're pretty excited about it.
Okay, maybe we might put our heads together and see what we can do. Yeah.
Yep. Bob says he loves the sketch cover from me. Thank you. Up on the wall. I love doing sketch covers. I'm so glad you enjoyed that, man. Javi had to take off.
Hey, peace out, Javi.
Yep. It says I asked God for help in Resistance game, and in my mind, I knew exactly what to do. I was so frustrated, but I beat the boss.
Nice.
I like that. Looks good. Open world game. Yeah, that does look really cool. I mean, yeah, I think long term, that's kind of what, I am looking forward to seeing more independent video game and game creators. So I haven't announced it yet. We're kind of holding off on the announcement, but we are doing, we've started a role-playing game like publishing company, Nick Tockert and myself. And so we're pretty excited about that. We'll really be announcing that later. He's developed the engine, and so we're going to have a number of different things to come out. We're going to have modular systems with miniatures and things like that. So we've got huge plans, just all these big ideas, and so we're real excited about it. Obviously, the first release is the Hybrids role-playing game that we're doing, so we're pretty excited about that too.
Do you know Adam Lawson?
I do know Adam Lawson.
That's where he made a good chunk of change, was crowdfunding a board game. I mean, yes, it was based off a TV show that he wrote and created. So it had a fan base, but I know it made, I think, like 6 figures on Kickstarter, and from there, that's where he's been like, yo, I got that money for the 8th first comic book and the Killing Journal.
The Kill Journal looks so good. He got a hold of Hybrids, and I told him, I said, dude, I'm gonna quote you. And so he was like, this is the X-Men that I wanted to read. And I'm like, I'm quoting you on that every chance I get. Nice. Anytime anyone ever mentions either my book or your name, I'm saying those words together because I am a shameless promoter. Shameless. I have no shame.
Nor do I. Because he also got a hand on a digital.
I was going to say that I only know of you, Luke, because of Dutton and because of our interactions on Twitter. And so he told me about you, and that's why I looked up Hybrids, and I was like, oh, this looks so cool. But I haven't got a chance to read it, but now I'm like super intrigued. I'm going to how many volumes do you have of this out? Okay,
all right. So I'm no braggart, but it is one of the coolest books that you're going to find.
All right. Can't wait to read it.
So basically, it's ancient aliens, that guy, it's the pyramids, it's the aliens, all of that stuff, stemming from Genesis chapter 6 with the Nephilim. Okay, it's kind of the core of all where the powers come from, and we tie all of that ancient alien conspiracy theory stuff. So it's like Ancient Aliens meets the Claremont era X-Men. So if you're a big fan of the 90s, if you loved the animated series of X-Men back in the 90s, that's all most of Claremont's characters and Claremont's story. If you kind of like that, if you like that vibe of storytelling, then this book is this is right up your alley.
That sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, and so I'm actually drawing issue 8 right now. We just got done crowdfunding issue 7, and so it's going to be fulfilled in a few weeks, and then we'll be crowdfunding issue 8. I will probably finish up the art. I've got how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 more pages to do, and it's only Tuesday, so I might finish early next week, if not this week, because I've got I'm trying to crank it out.
How do new fans like myself get a hold of issues 1 through 6?
Easy. They can go to the Indiegogo that I've got right now, and they can get the catch-up tier that we've got. So I've got the first 5 issues compiled as volume 1 into a trade paperback. I'm getting ready to put. I have a few floppies left over, but we are re-releasing everything through Arrow Comics. Got picked up, dude. So Sam, how old are you, man?
I'm 33.
33. Okay, so you're a little young. I'm 41.
The youngest one here.
But you may have heard of a company called Arrow Comics from back in the 80s, 90s, and they did a little in the early 2000s.
It sounds a little familiar, but
Yeah.
not
If you didn't
terribly.
know them, don't worry. I didn't know them, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
Because you're young, if you're 80s, if you're a fan of comics,
You're young.
if you're 40 to 50, you're gonna know who they are. It's an old guy thing. It's a geezer thing,
You're an old
right?
guy.
I'm a freaking old guy.
I get in the sky sometimes.
Yeah, back in my day, we used to buy our comics. Never mind.
They were 25 cents, and I still had leftover money to go to the theaters and get a corn pop and the candy.
We used to go down to the malt shop with our best gal. Okay, I digress. Anyway,
Yep.
but they're Randy Zimmerman is relaunching Arrow Comics, and they're going back into regular publishing starting in August. Hybrids is one of the books that they've picked up, and so I'm so excited to be a part of that kind of legacy.
Very dope.
The next chapter of that legacy. Man, it's so exciting. So we're re-releasing all of the issues, and they're getting remastered. So you can get the old issues, but we're also throwing in some remastered stuff, and so there's all kinds of stuff, and we'll have things on the website. But you can get those. You can get that on our Indiegogo right now. Yeah,
Okay.
and so I'll pop that in the comments for everyone. But yeah, so it's pretty. We're pretty excited about it. Do you guys have any video games that we can buy? Like, are you still in
No,
development or?
Yeah, everything's still. We haven't published a game yet. I don't even want to say coming soon, but coming, and we'll let you know. I'd love to jump back on here maybe when we're closer to releasing something, and maybe Jason can come with me.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. But it's too early to say right now.
Well,
But-
here's
The
what
thing
I'll
I've
tell
learned
you.
about video games is coming soon can be between now and like a 5-year gap.
less than 5 years for sure. But I don't want to get anybody's expectations on just coming out at a certain time and then it doesn't. So
that
when it's good and ready.
you don't want to cyberpunk anything.
Yeah. I
That
don't.
was
Yeah,
real bad.
I don't want to cyberpunk anything either.
So
I don't want to rush anything to.
We thought we would have the game, our role-playing game. It's a print book. I mean, it's like rolling the dice, theater of the mind kind of stuff, right? We thought we'd have it done last year. Like September of last year, I'd be putting it out. But man, like the work that goes into just putting that together. It's So I understand like you're doing graphics and like complicated coding and stuff like that. I'm excited to see what you guys do with it. And so as far as comics though, for what was your company's name again?
Mighty Jump Comics.
All right. So as far as Mighty Jump goes, do you have anything that's in the pipeline that's coming?
So Mighty Jump Comics, it was again. I feel like we're on very similar wavelengths, and so I even in this conversation feel like I may have to make some adjustments, because the first book that I wanted to put out on Mighty Jump Comics is called Slayer, and it deals with a very similar premise to as you like, not super similar. Let me explain, and then you'll see the similarities to Hybrids. In that, Slayer is centered around in Genesis, when when God tells Adam and Eve to get out of the garden because of their sin, but he gives the prophecy and the proclamation about how he's going to raise up the seed of Eve to crush the serpent's head, right?
Yeah.
And so the serpent, Satan, gets it in his head that God is going to raise up some sort of champion, so I need to raise up a champion of my own. And so you take the idea of the biblical giants, when the angels had laid with the sons of men, as it says in Genesis, and they produced these people called giants and these mighty men of valor, as the Old Testament talks. I think my thought was that these are prime candidates for super people, and I think, again, having not read Hybrids but listened to how you described him, I think that's kind of where you were going with it. And so, but my idea was that a specific mighty man of valor, a specific giant, as you were, that history records. Basically, I was looking into other mythological stories and seeing the similarities that they have, and like maybe the idea of like other religions and other realms of thought sometimes say very similar things with different terminology. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, historically, what are other stories outside of the biblical narrative that actually fit very well with the biblical narrative? And I came to I came to the story of Zeus. Zeus is this godlike figure, super powerful, we know that he has this proclivity for sleeping with earthly women and producing superpowered offspring. And so basically in my story, Zeus is another name for Satan, and Satan's son is the character of Hercules, right? Hercules is the champion that he has risen up. It's the person known as Hercules. The first volume is the first age of this guy's life when he goes by the name Hercules, right? And he's the son of Satan, who's going by the name Zeus. And so it's you kind of re-looking through the ancient stories of Hercules through the lens of he's actually the son of an angel who rebelled against God, and the plan is to use him to destroy whatever champion God raises up. And so that's
interesting.
That's the basis for Slayer.
I think you would love to read Hybrids. I think it'd be like right up your alley.
I think so.
Because they, so like we talk about the fact that the Greek gods didn't come around. The stories of those didn't come around until about 1,500 years after the stories of the Nephilim, and that the Nephilim are actually the real life inspiration. The Greek gods are just embellishments. Yes. And so these are all like angel human hybrids. That's where we get the title hybrids, angel human hybrids, the sons of gods, because they're the actual descendants of the Greek gods, of the real Greek gods. Yeah. And so we tie all that kind of stuff in, man. I think it's a lot of fun.
And so I also, I don't know if you're planning on doing something similar, but I also kind of want to put the idea that the gods of other pantheons, it's the same deal. So not just the Greek gods, but the Egyptian gods, the Norwegian gods. These are also
they're all the same people, just with different names. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, exactly. So... yeah. It's so cool. We should probably collaborate.
Yes.
We should probably just collaborate. So,
have you read Magna, The Last Pantheon by
I've got it right
John?
here. I haven't read it yet.
Magnus, The Last Pantheon?
Magna,
The Last Pantheon. No, I have not read that. Describe it to me. Give me the elevator pitch.
You can't get it.
I can't get it?
You can't get it anymore.
Then why are you telling me about it? Why can't I get it? Tell me why I can't get it.
You can't get it right
of you
now.
that have it.
But maybe John the Beyond might have extra copies.
Yeah.
Or because right now he's doing a crowdfunded of what is it? Black Tiger. His
Black
comic
Tiger.
book. Yeah, Black Tiger.
Black Tiger.
Because he has two titles. He goes back and forth on. It's Kung Fu one, Black Tiger, and then Magna. So right now he is on Black Tiger, and then he'll do like volume 2 of Magna, and he'll probably have a catch up bundle.
But that sounds like a really good plan.
We are dude. Okay, so we're gonna have to start wrapping up.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it is already an hour. Like we're already at an hour. So let's do this. We'll do a couple of housekeeping things. We'll show a couple of videos, and let's start out with.
You don't want to show anything from me. my friend. But you will anyways because you're
But I
a
will
man.
anyway. Check out Dutton's
Fear
book.
takes form in the darkness. The darkness feeds off screams. Fear is the enemy of childhood wonderment, built on hopes and dreams. So remember, in the terror of night, to protect the child, protect the light. Try not to become unstitched.
Love your trailer, man. Love your trailer.
Thank you.
That's
I
really cool.
am luckily that I have a friend that is a professional video editor, and then my other friend Sean just has an epic radio voice.
I don't have a video to show, but in the private chat I threw up the link to Capsule USA. If people
Okay.
want to
I'm
come
gonna
see
stick
what we're
that
doing,
in the comments there. So I just popped that in the comments, and it's going to go out to all the places we're broadcasting, all 3 places.
cool. Appreciate that.
and,
Yeah, come on down and see what we're about. Come support us and help us put a game out. One of the game
Absolutely.
development images you'll see will eventually come out. Which one is soon to be revealed, but yeah, come support us and you'll come see it. Cool, be a part of join the Capsule Army. You know.
Ooh,
Yep.
I dig the retro Capcom vibes for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very
big
cool.
big Capcom vibes.
All right, and then a little more housekeeping over here. This is still in demand, so go check this out.
In a world where the powers of the ancient Greek gods live on through their ancestors, it is up to an intrepid team of heroes to foil the wicked plots of the Hybrid Engineering Corporation. Armed with new information concerning an ancient weapon fabled to have the power to kill a demon, Rev and the team split up to gather the shards and put an end to Azazel before it is too late. Little do they know, the Game Master is still pulling the strings. New characters, new threats, and tons of plot-driven action await you in the Killing Field Part 2.
Wow, wow, wow. I like that music. It makes me my head pop like this.
It fits your club lighting background.
It does, right?
Yeah.
It's my whole vibe. And I don't have. Oh, I was going to share Rammer. We'll share it next week. He's still got a little time left. We'll talk about his next week. Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
that we're still
Any
doing.
plans this weekend before we go?
Plans?
Yeah. Any plans this weekend?
Hit the gym. I think from here today's Tuesday. This weekend.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
No, I'm gonna work on my art and try and figure out which one of these games we're gonna drop. I'm gonna do some cool, fun, artsy business stuff and dot some I's and cross some T's. And go back to church. This past week was my first Sunday back since COVID and the madness and all
Nice.
that. It felt real good going back to church, so I look forward to stepping into church again on Sunday morning. But yeah, that's the coolest thing I'm looking forward to doing this weekend.
Nice.
I'm probably going to be talking to Sam about a collaboration.
Nice.
I think it has to
Very
happen.
nice.
I think it has to happen. I mean, he's God's black friend. I'm God's white friend.
Right?
Together, y'all make God yin and yang, friend.
We make God's gray friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Dan? What do you got? You got big plans
Yeah,
this weekend?
Well, Friday's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday! How
Oh,
old will you
man,
be?
happy birthday. Yeah, very cool.
I become old.
How old will you be?
I'll be 29.
Oh my gosh, man! I
I'm
wish.
already rocking in my rocking chair.
What a babe. A wee babe.
Man, if I could have that 29-year-old body back with my 40-year-old brain, that'd be great.
Right, yeah.
You'd still be like, yo, you mean these fries are covered in cheese and bacon?
I would still do that. Yeah, I'd be like, I've got a whole new body to destroy.
I gotta play catch up.
Yeah.
Let the destruction begin again.
So, big plans for the birthday?
Probably go play laser tag. because it's kind of a tradition.
That's a very
with
cool tradition.
me and my friends. And then I am going to be working on another trailer with my video person.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'll be looking forward to that trailer, dude.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So this is you've got Unstitched 2 getting ready to come out, right?
We are in production, but I want to get farther along in the book.
Okay, I totally get
Okay.
that. I like to have a book done before I go to
Especially
crowdfunding.
considering that I have learnt a lot of Unstitch 1, and we'll be doing fulfillment stuff with that because it's at my mom's, and it's just a
Sweet.
safe place because she doesn't have dogs and I have dogs.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna be
I
working
don't
on
know
art.
if people want me to mail dog hair with the book.
Yeah, I'm gonna be working on art. Hopefully finishing up this book. Hopefully this week. We just finished up writing issue 10, and so I'm writing issue 11 this week as well. We've got layouts for 8. Obviously, I'm doing 8 now. Layouts for 9 are done. Layouts for 10 will be done in a couple of weeks. Man, we're moving right along. I think we're gonna have done
Nice.
production for all 12 issues done by the end of October, and we're gonna be crowdfunding. We're probably not going to crowdfund the next arc, which is 10, 11, 12 until next year, but we'll have them done. They'll be in the can, ready to go. Then, yeah, dude, I'm doing church again too. So I missed this last week because I was so sick.
Sorry.
So I wasn't able to make it. And so, but we're going, yeah, I'll be preaching again this week. So we've been back to church, in-person church for a few months now, I think 3 months. So it's nice. It's so much better than online church. Now, this is fun, kind of talking back and forth like this. But on Sunday morning, it's like I've got no interaction in a room whatsoever. It's like I'm just staring at the red dot.
Yeah.
So, question, like, do you?
Jesus sees you. Pay attention.
I have a question. Do you do the sermon, like where you are, where they're like, "Yo, I'm being taught the Bible," and there's a stormtrooper right behind them?
I did do this when it was online. Bob
Honestly,
was always
that
right
is
back
kind
there.
of that is kind of
Nice.
dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's
I should have tuned in.
It's me. It's who I am, and I can't be any different. They hired. So I was the youth and music pastor when the lead pastor had resigned, and so I started filling the pulpit, and I didn't change my style at all. I preached to the older congregation, just like I would if they were teenagers, and they loved it. And they're like, and so after a few months, they're like, "Would you just take the lead pastor's role?" And reluctantly I took it, but it's been fun. So I'm just who I am, man. And I don't think you've got to be like this, I think people expect like certain things. When you hear like pastor, oh well, they're like really right, all that kind of like hoity-toity. No, it's not. That's not it at all. It's like I love Jesus with my whole heart, but I also love
Watch
comic
Star
books
Wars.
and Star Wars. Right? Like you can
Yeah.
like all of that stuff you can still like and stuff. And so I think people they kind of get a little over the top with some of those like trying to pretend like you're all like I'm holy all the time. All I ever do is read theology books and thee thou thus I'm like, no, I do a lot of that. I'm not gonna lie, I do a lot of that, but I also have
You
this
know
thing
what,
called
Luke?
the LPV, the Luke's paraphrased version.
There is a story that I am working on that I might have to send you away, like the script, in a few weeks.
Sure, man.
Because I'm playing in the religion or religious realm a little bit.
I get that a lot, man. When everybody's like, "So is this like accurate, like Bible wise?"
Well,
I get those
I'm
questions
not really
a lot.
worried about that because I'm very much on the you know enough. I like playing a little loose to fit the story. But also don't
Hey,
want to
says,
be
"What
like
is up,
super.
Total Excellence? Thank you for joining us tonight. We're actually just getting ready to close out, man. You need to go by and check out, see the links up there for Capsule Games.
Yes, please.
And check out Sam's work over there. And what type of online service did I tune in? Well, it's like, yeah.
All the images you'll see on Capsule are produced by Jason because he is a mad genius of an artist.
Yeah.
I help out with the writing and some of the ideas, but all of those beautiful images, those awe-inspiring Capcom 90s Hitch in the Fields images, that's all Jason. Give him his flowers. Let him know in the comments.
Stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can send that script over. I'll take a look at it. There's not a problem. Yeah, I get stuff like that a lot. But
if anyone wants to come say hi, I am God's Black Friend on Instagram. There's no apostrophe. It's just God's Black Friend, one word. The way I met Dutton was I'm God's BLK friend on Twitter, I believe. Yeah. And where else can you find me? I think that's just it. Oh, I also have a random. You know what? For now, that's it. Until I'm ready to do more things substantially.
There you go. Dutton, where can we find you, brother?
You can find me almost every Tuesday at 8 o'clock to 9-ish here on Luke Stone Studios.
Yeah.
You can find me on Facebook if you, I guess, just look up Justin Dutton. I don't know if it has like any underscore names or whatever. You can find me on Twitter at Justin Dutton 18. And you can find me on OnlyFans when I do an OnlyFans, because I gotta make some more money somehow.
So are you like, okay, so there's a few different things. Like, I know that there's people that do put their comics on OnlyFans. It's kind of like an Etsy or something like that, or like a Patreon. And there's other people that are OnlyFans and they show a little. Like, are you doing that kind of OnlyFans?
Whatever the market
decides. Is that why you shaved? Did you shave any other places?
Oh, party foul! Where's the flag? I got the flag on the play. We got the flag on the play. I need to start having the flag on the play. I got a flag somewhere.
Maybe the OnlyFans will have the answers.
So.
By the way, the OnlyFans is a joke, but it's such a good one.
I will say this: I think you actually look better without the mustache, buddy.
Yeah, you know what? I got a few more compliments at work, and I'm like, that's cool, but you have a boyfriend, so that doesn't quite. Your compliment means nothing to
me. You say you have a boyfriend?
No. Like
the woman who complimented him had a boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So her compliment meant nothing to me. It's like, that's cool. You think I look better?
I mean, she's not married, right?
True.
I'm just saying, there ain't no ring on it.
She's still single in the eyes of the Lord.
Yeah. All's fair in love and war, man. That's what I'm saying.
She got no husband.
Yeah.
You can get in there.
Yeah, right. You can find me at lukestonestudios.com. Head on over there and lukestonestudios.com. Oh, here we got a message from a very special friend.
Comics are awesome.
We agree, Keanu. Comics are awesome.
We do agree.
We do agree. Comics are absolutely awesome. And so, speaking of comics being awesome, what about this?
That's not as awesome.
It's not as awesome. But what is happening
I'm still impressed by that.
Whoa! What is happening there?
I don't know. Oh, and you, Sam, you'll like this. This is some shots. This is a pinup page from Hybrids.
Yeah.
That didn't make it into the book, right? So this is what happens when life imitates art.
Whoa!
Right? What the heck? Look at that dude.
Whoa,
Look at that dude.
Yo, honestly,
I don't
if
think
his
he can tie
head
this.
was like a little bit bigger, just paint some green paint on him and be like, "Yo, you are."
No, man. No, this is the guy we're casting for Trash Man in the live action.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Like,
That's
look at
the guy.
That's the guy. Like, that's the guy that you cast for that. So,
His.
all right.
By the way, if that girl's boyfriend looks like that dude, then she's not single.
She's not single.
She's
Yeah.
not single.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't,
Unless I
lightly,
have my
buddy.
9 on me.
I think it's going to take 18.
Yeah, right. For real. You might need a lot more than 9 to stop that dude.
Be like,
Yeah.
yo, his pecs stop bullets.
Right.
Like,
right.
I'm in the hospital with every broken bone in my body, but I'm more impressed than mad.
Right.
Also, I'm switching to the 45 next time.
Right. 45 or yeah, whatever color. 50. Bring a 50. Yeah, that's
You might need to
crazy.
bring a cannon for that guy, a rocket launcher, maybe.
All right. Well, you know, we've had a lot of fun. We've had a whole lot of fun
Yes, we
tonight.
have.
Thanks, Sam, for joining us. Really great getting to know you.
Thanks for
Hopefully-
having me. It's been fun.
Hopefully the guests have enjoyed getting to know you as well. I'm looking forward to all the stuff that you guys are doing with the video games, with the comic books. Stay in touch. We're going to make sure we help each other get out there and spread the good news through comics and games, and just give some really good, solid entertainment to people that they don't have to worry about. No fears of what is inside of those things. So, great getting to know you, God's black friend. We are going to play the outro, and we will be done. So, everyone, be sure to tune in next week. Same bat channel, oh wait, never mind. That's the wrong thing. That's copyrighted. But you can find us. You'll be able to find us here again next week at 8ish to 9ish, just like you have, unless there's terrible thunderstorms and we don't have internet, or one of us is deathly ill. So try to avoid those at all costs. So, all right, everybody, we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and remember, try to leave the wood pile just a little bit higher than you found it.